This is Logical MGTOW Spock. Today's topic goes into where do we men, MGTOW men to start with, um, think of one particular thing to start with. I know even as young men, we've gone through many different things, but in this particular case, what would happen, do you think, to start with here, if the women that we had then, where they supposedly, quote unquote, dumped us for what they considered to be better than us, or even cheated on us by going behind our backs with men that they again thought would do a lot more for them or do better for them, or basically give them what they felt that they wanted and whatnot else. I'll give you an example. Um, Her name again, and I know I've mentioned her name in many of my in a certain number of my MGTOW videos. Her name is Jill Yaman. Her original given name is Jill Yaman. Her married name is Jill Dixon, but her you can call her maiden name is Jillian. I don't really care where she is. I don't care if she's still in Sacramento or went back to mommy and daddy with husband in Silicon Valley. I can care less, really, to be honest. In fact, I haven't really given her a second or third or fourth or fifth or however many thoughts. I've been living my own single MGTOW Tom Likas life. And I know, even with the fact that my mother wants me to be married with somebody, with a woman and everything, but the one thing is, my mother knows I'm MGTOW. My mother accepts it. My mother may not like it somewhere within her, or she may not understand it. All she has to do is ask. And I've told her many times, even when I became MGTOW, that we MGTOW are not against our own mothers. We're against those who we basically talk down about those that have become single mothers that we have dealt with in the past, that thought they can do better than us, just like the Tom Likas thing that he's been talking about and has had discussions on his radio show many times. Um, the one thing is that with the fact that we're doing better than possibly what we were then, here's the first question: Would you, even if you were given the chance, would you go back with your first serious flame that has been that will basically still age like milk? As Tom Likas even has said, women age like milk. And we men age gracefully in a positive sense for us men, that is. Would you or would you not go back in a relationship and possible marriage that would lead to a possible marriage with your old flame if she promised you, oh, I will never do what I did to you in the past. I will never do you wrong ever again. I'll do whatever you want. And then suddenly, right when you get married, it's a complete reversal. We know this. We MGTOW know this. So again, would you? And if so, what would you do differently? Or why wouldn't you? If the answer is no, you wouldn't go back with a bitch, with a slut, the one that thought she could do better than you. Many women in their youth think they can do better than any number of the men that they've gone with and have been with, even in the sexual sense. But then like years later, they find that one of the first, if not one of the many ones, are doing way better than they ever thought they would. And they would see that the person's single and living the life of luxury, no worries but to worry about themselves. And then they would essentially try to get back into our circle by promising us loads of shit that they know that they don't truly intend to keep for a very long time. They only intend to keep it till we sign that contract. Then it's a complete reverse. As Tom Likas has mentioned. And don't worry, this is not a logical MGTOW Tom Likas video. It's just a logical MGTOW video. I'm just mentioning Tom Likas because we MGTOW know this is exactly what Tom Likas himself even talks about. But this is a separate thing from Tom Likas in the sense of what would you do? Because I haven't heard yet of Tom Likas ever bringing this particular subject up. What would you do? Would you take her back? What happens if, say, you had, say, Jillian from, in my case, Jill Yeaman and Tina Schneider? Would you take them back? And when I say the two, you know the two that you went with in your youth. And yes, we men are still young and still aging gracefully. As women age like milk and become gradually like spinster bitches. Okay. Basic fact is, I can tell you right now, the only thing I would do when it comes to Jill Yeaman is get her tested, make sure she's 100% clean, fuck her, and then that's it. Same thing with Tina Schneider. Get her tested, fuck her, and then that's it. Although in between, I could easily do that if I wanted more from them. I'd have it to where they do things for me continuously, as if I would kind of play acting into their little bullshit, their bullshit feminazi games. I wouldn't go to the points of giving them shit whenever they expected it. They'd have to earn it. And believe me, you can make it longer or shorter or midway. And they would not be able to tell the difference. And with that, you wouldn't have to spend that much time with them, as we thought we did have to in order to stay with them, because they'd make sure that they had an open time availability for them to spend time with you. This is the truth. It may not seem such, but the one thing is, would you want to spend as much time as they allowed themselves and have given themselves? You can either comment on the comment section below, or comment on the Logical MGTOW or Logical MGTOW Spock Facebook page. With that, I'm sure you'd be able to say a lot more. And if you're new, you can press that bell and the subscribe button, and you'll get new and possibly even semi-current to current videos that I've done. But would you? What would you do, Zach? What would you do? Would you play into their bullshit feminazi, thing to where they think that they have you and they think that they can drag you along only to where you allow it to go? Or would you basically only go so far and that's it? And if they weren't able to get you to go any further, of course they bitch, moan, whine, and complain, right? Or you could use the fact that if they wanted us to go any further, coin slot time. And then what I mean by coin slot is time to slam it in them. Basically, the cum dumpster effect. But of course, that cum dumpster effect as well, even before the first sexual promiscuity thing, would go to the points if they came out clean. Being that, of course, you would have whoever gave them the test to call you, and the woman would have to agree to it. And with that, the woman would not be able to do anything sexual with anybody else. But there's what lies a the very questionable question. Would they wait to see if they're clean, or would they go about their slut femininity ways and get laid by some other idiot while waiting, but yet still, and then but yet even if you did or did not find out, then it'd be a longer time, then a longer time, then a longer time. This right, that right there, that right there would tell you that they aren't really wanting to be with you, even with the fact that you're doing a lot better than you were when you were with them in the beginning, when you were younger. Even in your teenage, even in your 20s, even, you know, if they have the gumption, more than the gumption, essentially, to while they act like they're waiting, to slut around with other guys, and yet tell you they're still waiting. Uh-uh. Then, and say for example the test comes out clean, right? But yet you know that you even have a suspicion that they've been sleeping around while supposedly waiting. Brush them off. They'll deny it left and right, guaranteed. Brush them off nonetheless. Say if you and tell them if they weren't really willing to, and you have a very strong suspicion, even more so than a strong suspicion, that they were not waiting, as if we had to keep an eye on them 24 fucking 7. That's my phone. Then they're not worth our time. They're not worth our time. Brush them off and say, "Don't ever fucking bother me again." Women hate that, but they don't mind it when they do it to us. There's no second thought when they do it to us, but yet when we men do it to them, they don't like that. I used to care, to be honest. I used to care if they liked it or not. I don't. I haven't since, hell, since I've been, let's see, I started not caring even before I got married many years ago, and I still didn't care even after the divorce. That was my choice, and I explained that on one of my other videos of Logical MGTOW. But nonetheless, I've gotten to the point to where I can care less. If the woman likes it, if we men brush them off, they have had the aspect and mindset from teenage. If they're not being benefited the way they feel comfortable, and they feel where they feel they're in, even in the aspect of entitlements and expectations, of getting what they think they should get and deserve, and what they think they and feel that they deserve, even from us men, outside the aspect of their parents. Then, of course, when it comes to them dumping us, there's no second thought. We don't know this until much later in our years and as we age, right? For the many young men watching this video, it's the truth. You can deny it all you want, scoff it off all you want, but it's the truth. The young men that were once young men, but still young, but older in age, know this. One of them being myself. Women go to the points of expectation, emotional psychological denial, and many other things. But when it comes to trying to trade us up for something better, the only difference is women only can go so far with that. Because we men age gracefully. The women, age like fucking Berkeley Farms milk. As I said, Berkeley Farm. Right before I said Berkeley Farms, I had the mental picture of of a sign over at Great America that said Berkeley Farms in the red oval thing. Okay? At Marriott's Great America, they had that one particular thing on the building there. Anyway, it's true though. We men age gracefully. We become more valuable. The women become less valuable. Way less valuable. Women become way less valuable. I know in their minds, even in the Tom Leykis show, that they think they become more valuable than us men. And the main reason is because of what they have been born with. What Tom Leykis still even calls the aged golden vagina. Like we men have to pay a fee or a ticket for us to even enter that. But yet, it's not always the case, though, is it, ladies? Because once we are able to get you completely plastered, then it's open season. The gates are unlocked, the gates are wide open. And all that has to do is your legs have to be widened open to a certain width, right? While you're completely plastered, and then suddenly it's fucking sledgehammer away, right? The woman thinks that he's too intoxicated to realize it, and yet we men know, even as intoxicated as we get, we still have a sense that they are way too intoxicated to even know what's really going on. Their inhibitions are lessened way more than they think that ours are. This is true. Something that they would have us work hard for when they get completely plastered, we don't have to worry that hard. For women, it's sad but true. For us, it's a not sad thing. But getting back onto it, what would you go back with the one that traded you up for what she thought was better? Jill's done that to me like mm, 3 times, if not more. She has, and I know she has no second or third or fourth or ninth thought about it. Even to this day, I'm sure she doesn't or hasn't even before she got married. But again, it's weird though. Such many women that claim to be married that you haven't seen for a number of years aren't really married. It just makes them feel better when they say that they are. That's another aspect to it that nobody really thinks about. But the one thing is, even with even if it is true, either which way, right? Um, you often wonder if the person has a tighter hold than we may have on the woman, or even where we may have had thought that we had to, without the concept of cash being in play in between it all. You wonder if she's planning to do something else, something different, something that she hasn't done in a number of years, even while dating men at various points within their lifespan of their youth especially. What I mean is simply I'm gonna use Jill Yeaman as an example. She could easily be so watched over, so much so that if she made one wrong move that Chris Dixon, and who I respect, would know about, would be able to detect it, or whatever else, right? So she has, while he's out, doesn't matter how far out he is, trying to do it, trying to get some money, right? She could be at home, whatever the fuck that is, I can care less. And calling up her old male friends, in which was once me, or it could be anybody else for that matter. And where she tries to talk the guy to come where she is, either to come to pick her up and go somewhere, or go over to where she is, and then right when she just knows that when Chris Dixon is going to come over, Then she goes over to the point of making you go over towards her in a romantic sexual, possible sexual promiscuity action, right? Therefore, Chris would be able to do that to you. And then toss you right out the damn door. This, of many, many, many women have done to other men and or even think that they can get away with, even if this doesn't happen. Just to satisfy their own bullshit little feminazi egos, as if they got away with something. And then right when we least expect it, they automatically go over to the person and say what we did, as if we did something wrong when it was all due to the fucking female. And then with that, the woman would try to act like that she never did anything wrong, but that the guy, being one of us, essentially forced ourselves on her. It's more than possible. Oh, believe me, it is more than possible. And yes, I'm wearing some attire right now. Basic fact is, the only way that can happen is if you stick around while she does that. But yet, here's the one thing though too. A woman can do that even while we're not around in the same instance. But the one thing is, don't say where we truly live. That way, if she does, then the white knight boyfriend or husband or whatever would not be able to get anybody, not even the police themselves, to come over to your front door. Not even the white knight husband or boyfriend themselves would be able to come to your front door to confront you. If they happen to call you, say, "I was right here the whole entire time." How the fuck would that be possible if that was ever possible? I was, and you can say, "I was doing something. I was here the whole entire time." Even with the fact that you were with her for maybe half the day, if not half the day, only a percentage of the day. Then you went back to where you live, or some or to another location. Then when it got later in the day, then you went back home. Then you can easily just say, "Hey man, I was here. I went over to get something to eat, got and came back home." No, or you could also say, "No, I've been here all day. I ordered something to eat, played some video games, you know, or listened to music, went on YouTube." You can, that would put her in the hot seat, not you. The only way it would put you in the hot seat is if she came to your door, you did this shit, she went home and said it. Or she got picked up by the dude that she's with right now and said it, and he would come right out and beat your ass. To save face, don't fall for her shit. Don't go to her place. Don't even meet her anywhere that he knows where it is, especially. Even if she's the only one that knows, she'll. Oh, believe me, if she wanted you to be in deep shit, pounded essentially, physically, then believe me, she'll tell him where she was, even by showing him at times. And if you're still there, be prepared. And young men, don't think that this won't happen to you. There's more than a possibility it can, because and that it will essentially, because the one thing is, when women don't feel that they're being attended to, or even paid enough attention to, believe me, they'll come up with anything and try to get away with anything. But like I said in the Never Get Married video of Logical MGTOW with the Tom Likas logo right next to the Logical MGTOW logo, it's basically where she can still go towards a no-fault divorce situation. In fact, that she'd be enacting it by going behind the dude's back, as she's gone behind our back many years before. But the one thing is I know that Jill. I have a strong feeling of this too. In the person that I know, it's not always. It won't always be the person that you know in the female of the female. You know that she would be too in fear of using the no fault divorce. She would not want to be alone, even if she was caught. And that's the truth. Basic fact is, man, it's best to do not go into it with the women that have done us wrong. Because one way or another, they'll make sure that we pay for it. But the one thing is, and we'd have to have um, one hell of a case against them, to where we basically are the victor, and to where we are not in the range of fault and blame. Basic fact is the truth. It's the truth. Women think they can get away with practically anything and everything, and even under the sun. Some people would usually say it's because of their gender, and some other people would say it's because of the way society still views them as weak, incapable to be able to take care of themselves, even as they spend their financial bracket to the point of, shall we say, financial debt or the financial demise. This is the truth. It's so damn true that even women don't like that. Even if men like myself and or Tom Likas were to voice it. And even if we were to say it, even if we were to say it, to where the woman knows it's the damn truth, but they don't want to be going to the points of admitting it because they would feel less of a person. Guilty. In which they are guilty. They've been guilty for doing us wrong in the fucking first place. So basically, women think they can get away with shit, and believe me, they try every which way, even by offering themselves up to other men, even at times in the legal profession, to get their way. It's because of what they have attached to them. They think they can get away with anything and everything, no matter how stringent or how, you know. The basic fact is, you ladies do not get it. Women age gracefully, become more valuable. You women age like milk. Berkeley Farm, Lucerne milk. Believe me, I know there's a number of them. But again, men, would you? I sure as hell hope not. Because women are devious. A lot more devious than they claim that we are. But yet at the same time they think that they, no matter how far they've gone in age, they think they can still grab onto their youth and still use it to their advantage. And when they find out they are not able to, they can't handle it. Just like Tom Likas says, they can't handle it. They don't know how to. When they get the the aspect of what they've done to us men, left and right, even in regular school, high school, junior high, college, for those who have gone to college, especially, they think that they can do better than us, to the point of um, using the word no or any other aspect of denial levels and vocalizations, right? Even as they try to even insult us, as they deny us. They pay the price in one way or another as the years roll through, or roll on, essentially. Even after they thought they had a horse in the barn or in the on the reins, essentially. Then when they get bored of that horse or horses, however many, then they see one of us MGTOW members that they've known and denied, basically, even with the base of trying, even if they did insult us in the same aspect. When they see us MGTOW men that they've gone to school with or even dated, and they when they see that we're doing a lot better without them, without a woman in general, and women, and I've said this maybe not so much, but women hate that they are not doing as good as we are. When they see us men doing a lot better, they want to jump into that pool. There's only one thing. That pool is only for us, right? That pool is only for us. So therefore, we can put if you excuse the Star Trek metaphor, shields up, and they'd be bouncing right off the damn thing. There'd be a fucking diving board, and metaphorically, we see them in the woman on the diving board, or women on the diving boards on either, you know, all we have to do is say one thing in our minds, shields up, and they'd be jumping off jumping off the diving board, bouncing right off the damn fucking shield and on their ass or on their face. Metaphor. We can envision it any which way. Or smack dab into a fucking tree stump with the tree branch going right through their heads. If we want to go to morbid and gorish aspects to it. In the metaphorical thought, we say shields up, bounce, you know, or deflect, or as a deflect off. That's another way of putting it. So basically, if you would give her another chance, believe me, you'll be putting yourself in the shark's tank in more ways than one. If you do, only to a certain extent, those sharks will still be below as you go across that metaphorical balancing beam. The basic fact is that it's best not to even put ourselves into that. I mean, yeah, in in as we do it, only for a certain length of time, nothing will happen to us. I mean, we'll probably still be able to get as far as doing them one time or so, or however many times. But eventually, even if they don't cry or crawl back to their husbands or other boyfriends. Who's to say they won't at one point? They would be able to. They possibly would be able to try to gain so much confidence in you that you would gain that they would gain from where you would basically have more trust in them that you would automatically say this is where you live. Then right when you get to that point, the next thing you know, even if you don't have any visual aspects aside from a peephole of who's at the front door of your place, you just metaphorically fell into the shark's tank. I can tell you right now, I haven't put myself into that, and I don't plan to. Of course, I know it's easy to say that, but I can tell you right now that I don't foresee it. I'm not going to say things may turn into a happenstance, but for me, I can tell you right now, as a MGTOW member, and I can say I'm more than grateful that it hasn't happened yet. Even if Jill herself is watching this video, I don't really care. Even if Jill herself were to watch any one of my other MGTOW videos where I mention her, or even if Tina Schneider herself or Rose Benton herself were to watch this video, I wouldn't really care. Or any other one that denied me to start with. Any woman that denied me in any way, shape, or form, even in my youth, and even in their youth. And those who have done me wrong, even in the sinful aspect of going against the Bible. I don't care. I'm doing a lot better, ladies. I'm doing a lot better than I was then. Although I'm not going to say that I wasn't doing just as well with you as much as I was without you. Many of us men can say that. Many of us men that are MGTOW can say that. The ones that have not crawled or basically went back to them for any given reason, even with a fake, phony ass, feminist, manipulative fucking promises and shit. Those MGTOW members who have fallen into that are no longer MGTOW members. Because you can't be, to me, you cannot be a MGTOW member if you're going to fall into the Shark Tank, the metaphorical Shark Tank that I mentioned. You can still be a MGTOW member if you are, in my aspect of thought, if you have had shields up, even with women still attempting to jump off that board, that jump, the board to jump in your metaphorical pool with you, but instead they get deflected off the shield that surrounds the pool that you're in, metaphorically again. So basically, to answer that question on my aspect, when it comes to Jill, hell no. When it comes to Rose, aka Alyssa Benton, which is her real name, again, hell no. When it comes to Tina Schneider, hell no. When it comes to Vicky, the high school bitch that I used to be friends with, that was that's a daughter of teacher's aide that I had in I think it was junior high or somewhere. Hell no. Or Vicky's little slut female friend. Hell no. Or even Terry, the one time skinny little bitch that was also in my high school or junior high. Hell no. Any other woman that I've dealt with, that I went to high school, junior high with, elementary school with, even Regina, and who I remember, she never really gave me the time of day, really either. But also, I remember one time she was on the monkey bars at one of my schools that I went to, and fell and hit her head right on the damn thing. And then she called my name. And of course, when I was in my youth, I was about to go. I was prepared to go over there, but I'm glad I didn't. Women have been able to use our niceness and kindness against us. When they see the nice guy aspect, they don't even give us the time of day. But when we treat them like shit, they don't like it. But yet, eventually, they return to us, and that's where they gradually, if not in the beginning, respond to. Yes, I know when it comes to when we're growing up, we're taught always treat the woman with respect, consideration, decency, kindness, and all this other shit, right? Lo and behold, that's not even what our parents responded to if not half the time. I'm not saying all of our parents, yet they know this and they don't want to admit it. And if they do admit it, cool. If they don't, and I'm talking about when they were in their youth, like we were in ours. Like many of the women that we've faced and dealt with were also in their youth as well. In many ways, we men are still in our youth, not women, because we MGTOW members know women age like Berkeley Farms. Lucerne milk. We men age gracefully and we are even more than respected, and where we become more at a aspect of where we are more more than accepted, more than needed. Women not in the same category. So you could say the many men that even have done what's known as a sex change have lost that what we men gain, and basically we can go to the points of feel sorry for them. That's my phone again. Or we can go to the points of not feeling sorry for them. They made their bed, now they have to lay in it. The basic fact is that I sure as hell hope you would not give the woman that even denied you and did you wrong, even insulted you. I pray to our Heavenly Father that you do not give those women any time of day, even if they were to want to reconnect with you. I can tell you when I reconnected to Jill Yeaman, aka Jill Dixon, she wanted me to go down to, and I've mentioned this before, she wanted me to go down to her place where she was in Truxell, or wherever the fuck it was, and where she can spend time with, where I can spend time with her. While Chris Dixon, and who again I respect, was out trying to make money for themselves, for her as well as him, for the survival for both of them, right? All the while she was planning to do that very thing with me. But if it was just a hangout, I'm sure he would have no problem with that, right? But the one thing is that even Chris Dixon should be aware of, women are very very deceitful in many ways than one. Yet they are also little game playing little witches and bitches and sluts. If they think they can get away with something with one guy, or whoever that one guy may be, then they'll turn around and go right over to the person that they're actually with, and then it's Pound City, right? Chris Dixon knows. Being what I mean by Pound City, Chris Dixon would pound the fucking daylights out of the dude. It wouldn't be me because I'm too smart for that shit. Women don't realize when we use our intelligence, we to where we don't fall into that bullshit, that Shark Tank. you can say their desirability becomes well known to them to where they're not able to use the metaphorical tractor beam to pull us in. They're not able to coerce us, and another way of putting it. The way they were able to when we were much younger and before they became into any particular marital situation with another person or any other relationship type situation with anybody else. So again, though, would you be willing to fall in the Shark Tank and not to be pounded by the possible one that she's with, if she's with anybody at all, or even if she isn't? Would you want to fall in that Shark Tank to where she can mentally manipulate you again? I hope each one is no, fuck no, hell no. What are you joking? What are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck are you smoking type of thing? That right there would tell me you would not give the woman or women the time of day, because even the women that never gave us the time of day, that eventually give us the time of day, or even go towards the intent of giving us the time of day, even as Tom Likas has said many times, that they only do it because they want to make sure that they're still desired, they're still wanted, respected, needed. And the way they do it again, even beyond that point, is to where they try to mentally manipulate us into getting them shit. And even those who are not logically really with a guy, they do the same shit. They want us to put our name on the fucking contract, and they got it. I will never fall into that aspect, even in the possible marital aspect. Yes, I was married before, but my situation of marriage was different. I wasn't taken to the bank and divorce either, or to the cleaners and divorce either. And that's the truth. I don't care if you believe it not to be, but believe me, I would never lie to you. So, all in all, you may need to re-examine yourself on that one. Right? Even many MGTOW members that would even voice on their own videos that say they wouldn't, if actually given the chance, there's a still percentage that they would. And I'm not demeaning them. I'm not doubting them or nothing like that. But many people who have said or even voiced on video saying, "Oh, I wouldn't give her the time of day." But offline, who's to say if they would or wouldn't? And I'm not putting a base of doubt on anybody either, even though it may sound like it. And it doesn't really matter how much of an experience you have had with women; it can still play out the same way. But for me, even with the fact of the experience I've had with women, would I ever fall into the Shark Tank? Oh hell! But there is one thing though. One thing I didn't think I would mention until I just thought of it just now. We can make it to where they fall into our Shark Tank. Yes, we have a metaphorical Shark Tank just as much as they do, but a lot more devious. Not to the point of ending one's life. and not to the point of ending our own. But in the points that where they would not be able to get away with shit. To where even as they try to have us go to the points of more than a promise of marriage to an actual aspect of marriage, to where we can play the cards that is dealt with it while we're dealing with them, to where we can go to the what's known as a royal flush, to the points to where they don't get shit what they expect, in the sense of trying to have us sign our name on the dotted line in the aspect of marriage, even on the aspect of the um, the other piece of paper, which basically is used like toilet paper in divorce court. But when it comes to the woman's paper, and you know what I'm talking about. Many of you MGTOW members know what I'm talking about. I don't even have to say it. So basically, we do have a Shark Tank. They have a Shark Tank. Metaphorical. We both have a metaphorical Shark Tank. But would we take the chance to fall into theirs? Or could we even get them to fall into ours? I would never sign a prenup, and that's the paper I was referring to. But more often than not, I know they would, just to even get us to sign one for them. I wouldn't even go to that extent. I pray to Heavenly Father that you wouldn't either. You will not either go into that extent. Because as many MGTOW members have mentioned, even myself have mentioned that even Tom Likas even has mentioned that the aspect of marriage, well, along with a no-fault divorce that only benefits the woman, women have made the aspect of marriage into a business that benefits them. Even with the fact that the knowledgeable aspect of that, even to us men, that Heavenly Father Himself, along with our Savior Jesus Christ, has made and has created marriage to the point to where it's supposed to be 50-50. But women have made it, even with the help of daddy and the support and defense of daddy government, especially with the no fault divorce, has made it to where it benefits the woman. You can tell I've been thinking about this for some time. I even had a general thought of it last night to today. And why I'm making this video of logical MGTOW. The basic fact is that if Joe were to have nothing else to do with Chris, even in the no-fault divorce situation, and if she wanted to reconnect with me, same thing with Rose, or Kate, or be that, of course, Alyssa Benton. Same thing with Vicky and Terry, the skinny little bitch. And even with Christina Schneider, even with Carmen, and who I liked when I was in, I think it was junior high, and I think it was Miller Junior High, I think it was. Um, she wouldn't even get the time of day either. They never, and Terry and Carmen and the other ones never gave me the time of day, except for Christina Schneider did. But when I came back from Arizona, she was already with somebody else at that point. But if she were to try to give me the time of day again, would I take it? Oh, hell. Same thing with Joe. Hell. Same thing with Alyssa Benton, aka Rose Benton. Hell no. Same thing with the high school little witches and sluts that were in my junior high as well as high school. Hell no. Their desirability only goes only so far. Our desirability builds up as much as we men don't first take notice of. Our desirability goes up while gradually the female's desirability goes down as they age. If you want to know more, please let me know in the comment section below or on Logical MGTOW Spot or Logical MGTOW on Facebook. Both on Facebook. This is Logical MGTOW Spock. Live long and prosper, MGTOW members and future and soon to be MGTOW members and new MGTOW members. And please stay safe, stay alive, stay self confident, stay self assured. Free yourself from feminism and the feminist manipulation and the Me Too manipulation. Free yourself from that as well. And stay strong, stay self assured, stay single, stay MGTOW. MGTOW for life, brothers. Have a good day.